Industrial manufacturing industry, it's a male-dominated space, but women are up and coming. One of the ways that you can enhance and get rich results for your business or your organization is to do schema on your company. If you are not using internal linking on your website, you are missing out on an opportunity. Everybody wants to be heard, right? Everybody wants to know that they're proving their worth and that they're appreciated for the job that they're doing. Thank you. See you on the flip side. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Intersecting Industries. Today, my guest is Penny Thorn from TCI Coatings, and we'll be taking a deep dive into women in the industrial space, specifically in sales. So welcome, Penny, to the show. Hi, Penny.
Hi.
How are you today?
I am good. I'm excited.
Good, good. Well, let's dive right in.
Sounds good.
So let's start with how you acquired your position at TCI.
Well, I started out, I was a dog groomer, and I groomed the owners' dogs and boarded their dogs. So I had known the owners for a few years, and I started out just as support staff, office work, cleaning, went into helping with the process, shipping and receiving, stripping of the parts, helping with the wash line, whatever was needed, I was there.
Okay. And this is not so you're in sales. You've been doing sales for them for about a year, correct?
Yes, correct. I started out doing deliveries, pickup and deliveries, and then built a rapport with the customers, earned their trust, showed that our process and our service and the quality was worth it. So I developed relationships with the customers, and never intended on getting into sales, but the customers would call the owners and say, hey, you should get her into sales. We like her. So it developed from there.
Yeah. And this is not your first sales position. You actually sold Oldsmobiles, correct?
For about a year during college, I acquired a position with a local dealership. And yes, I sold Oldsmobiles, Cutlass Supremes. I'm dating myself. The Oldsmobile Delta 88s and the 98s. And so started my sales learning basically there, and would be out on the lot. And of course, in the area, there was a lot of GM workers, and I would meet and greet them. And many times I would get, oh, what are you going to show me? The mirrors? And I'd pop the hood, and I said, no, let's look at the engine, talk about horsepower and overhead fuel injectors. And so that is how I kind of stood out from the rest, and the customers appreciated that.
Yeah, I found that story interesting whenever you were telling me about that. So thanks for sharing that.
I grew up with a father who was a mechanic and drag race motorcycles. So I grew up with a little bit of that knowledge.
Yeah. You were also a science teacher for 8th and 9th graders, and you did that for about 5 years, and you substitute taught after that.
Yes.
So how has your teaching science helped you with the knowledge that you have for TCI Coatings?
Oh, it definitely correlates with what we're doing. I get to see the concepts that I used to instruct with my students. I get to see them in real life manufacturing processes. So when I go into a facility and they let me see the process and the products being made, it's like eye candy to me. It's amazing. And so all of the physics and all of the chemistry correlates with our coatings, because our coatings are actually unique recipes that is designed to coat, tool, and dies, and to help with part release, resistance to abrasion, and increased lubricity. And so instead of the dies getting worn out, the coating actually takes the wear and tear, and it extends the life about 3 to 10 times.
And how would you say that your PVD coatings, and for everybody who doesn't know, what does PVD stand for?
Thank you for asking. PVD is actually physical vapor disposition. And what it is it's a NASA type machine that is vacuum sealed, and it's an electrified plasma cloud of metals. And the metals are, of course, a unique recipe developed by Matt Carpenter, the owner, one of the owners. We have Matt Carpenter, Mike Carpenter, and Jerry Carpenter. And our recipes are uniquely designed to adhere to the substrate. It creates a first layer of a plasma nitride, which is a case hardening. It adheres into the substrate about 50 microns. So basically what it's doing, it's creating a harder outer shell. And then it's about a 14-hour process, and it coats in layers. And we can do up to 36 layers of chromium, titanium, aluminum recipes, combinations, depending on what the manufacturer is working. If they're working aluminum, if they're working galvanized steel, aluminum, high tensile steel. And we've even come across a couple of applications other than metal stamping where our coatings have helped. For example, molds for latex. One of our coatings has helped greatly, and we're getting repeat business for that. And some other applications. So we're excited and we're growing.
Yeah, so that is a lot of information and very technical. So thank you for sharing that with me, with us, I should say. One of the things that we talked about was how you stand above your competitors. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Okay, well, first of all, we specialize mainly in the automotive and appliance industries. So we specialize in microfinishing. Basically, what we tell our customers is the coating is as good as the substrate. And so we have to process that substrate before we coat it. And of course, also the recipes are unique and they last longer. So they're designed specifically for the hot stamping, cold stamping, plastic mold injections. Sorry, my little puppy's making her debut here. So, and then of course, I care about our customers. So I've always been kind of very adamant about customer service. My customers can call me any time of the day, 24 hours a day, no problem. And of course, in the manufacturing industry, that is vital because, if you have a machine down or a line down, that holds up the whole process. And so our coatings help so that the machine is functioning longer and there's less downtime, definitely less downtime.
And we also talked about you have a faster turnover.
Yes.
In your process, you can do things relatively quickly.
Yes, correct. Because we specialize in just automotive and appliance industry mainly, our turnaround time is usually 3 to 4 days in shop. What I like to tell our clients is that, give me until, if I pick up on a Thursday, give me until next Thursday. But of course, I'm always delivering at least a couple of days before that. I like to exceed expectations. And we do specialize in many hot jobs. So if there's something that comes up and a tool or a dissection crashes and they don't have a backup, they can call us anytime and we'll do what we can to get it there as soon as possible, get it processed and get it back to them as soon as possible. And of course, our coatings will not chip or flake. I've had one customer call me up and they tried to grind on it and was asking me a question, how come I can't grind it off? I said, well, you have to give it back to us and we can easily strip it without etching or damaging the substrate, and then we recoat it. So it's very durable, and many customers are finding the value, and especially with the need of getting workers, the shortage of everywhere I go, everybody needs workers. They're hurting for workers, and if there's anything that can help to reduce labor time, downtime, many of them are looking at PVD coatings now.
Yeah, those are all important points, because if, like, when we talked, if a person doesn't have a replacement part, being able to get that repaired quickly and back up and working is so key for manufacturing.
Exactly. Now, what's frustrating in my industry is that there's a manufacturer, their process, that they have part release issues, cleaning issues, that sort of thing. And as a salesperson, that you can help with those issues. You can improve those issues. You can make that process easier and more time efficient, but you just can't get in there to give them that information. And in sales, as we all know, I think that's the biggest obstacle is trying to get a decision maker's name. With me, it's usually tool and die supervisors, and actually getting past the gatekeeper to get an email, a phone number, something, just to say, hey, we do PVD coatings. I think we can help. And of course, like Kyle and you, Nancy, say, you can't put it all in their face all at once. You have to kind of subtly, hey, this is us. Here's a brochure. Just subtly, this is what we can do. And then just keep at it, just trying to keep getting your info to them.
Yeah. So I like that you brought that up. You can't put it all in their face at one time, because you just can't do that. I mean, we talk a lot on, Kyle talks a lot about it. We talk a lot about it here. Whenever you approach somebody, it can't be a situation where you just give them everything all at once. And you and I kind of had a conversation about that. So tell me what your process is for getting into a new company.
Okay, well, my first year here at TCI, basically I would call and ask if I can send our brochures, or I would stop by. You cannot be afraid to call them and say, hey, I'm in your parking lot. And of course, during COVID, I would call first and ask, hey, can I just stop in the office and just drop off our brochures and my business card? And many places were very appreciative that I would call first before opening that door during COVID. I would ask to email our brochures and then stop by. A lot of times if you stop by, right place, right time, the decision maker may be having a meeting out front in the conference room with somebody else, and they see you in there. And I've had that happen a couple times where they would come out and meet me and get my information. Actually, they were having a problem. So, and then of course, following up, hey, did you receive our brochures? Is there any questions that you have? And then just start asking them questions. If you ask them questions, they like that, you're interested in their process. And then just kind of subtly, well, we have some other customers in your area that we're helping, or in my experience, this has helped. So you kind of have to build trust. First, you have to make yourself known, which this is our second location, Bowling Green, Kentucky. So Southern Kentucky, Northern Tennessee. So I had to make myself known and our company known in the area. I had to let them know that there was another process other than TD or hard chrome or CVD. And then just, you got to keep at it, and don't be afraid to walk in the door, stop by, call, talk, email. You just got to use all avenues. And of course, LinkedIn. I used LinkedIn at first to learn a lot of the process information, came across Kyle, loved his intro, especially, I'm going to talk about shit. We'll learn some shit. So that caught my eye. Being kind of a nitty gritty kind of girl, it was like, yeah, hey, I like that. And then just learn and explore and make connections on LinkedIn, get the names, do a little thank you when they connect. I did make the mistake of my first time on LinkedIn, when people would connect, I would give them a whole sales spiel on the messages, and just twice. So I learned my lesson, and I just say thank you, and then go from there, and then follow up later on. Hey, can I send you a brochure? This is what we do. You just got to keep at it.
Yeah. And so has LinkedIn been a successful avenue for you?
Oh, definitely. Yes. LinkedIn has been, it was kind of like my first intro to this industry, the people, just kind of, I would make one connection and then see their connections, and, hey, here's this person in the tool and die or quality or engineering. And then, it just go from there, and make myself known, make our company known, make the coatings known. And, I especially liked the other day when I was listening to a live talk, and it said only 5% of LinkedIn users post. 5%. Okay, well, maybe my posts will get out there and get seen. And so I started posting, and of course, little worried about, well, should I do this? I don't want to bring anything negative to myself or my company or that sort of thing. But LinkedIn's it's made a lot of connections for me.
Having an issue with your puppy there?
Yeah, she wants to bite my hand. She wants to
little show entertainment here, people.
Yeah.
Okay, so
oh
my goodness. Okay. So let's you and I had an extensive conversation, but let's talk about, what are your thoughts about having a curious mind? Do you need to have a curious mind when you are going to be in sales in the industrial space? And the reason I ask this is because I think that when you are going into different manufacturing companies, you need to be able to be excited about a product and be able to, do your research and learn. And I think that you're much more effective in sales if you have a curious mind. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
Definitely. You have to, in this industry especially, you always have to be learning, improving, and every location has different technology, different process, and you have to be able to ask a lot of questions. And yes, the curiosity and the enthusiasm is definitely key. That is so contagious, and it impresses the people that you're trying to talk with. You're trying to motivate to take a look at your product. these guys get bombarded with sales calls, emails. So I have quite a few that won't take any sales calls, or they'll allocate 1 hour to a couple that they're interested in. So you do have to stand out. You have to ask lots and lots of questions. And I love talking to people and asking them, what do you do? And I'm always interested in what other people do, their experiences, their stories, their jobs. I mean, their history. And so with me, I just love listening to that and asking them about that.
Yeah, I think that's key because, we talked about relationship building, and that's all part of it. And I think that just really goes to ingrain yourself into their business and then into them, and really build that relationship with them, like having those conversations and showing the interest, showing up, really showing up.
Definitely. And it doesn't hurt to have a little experience with other things that they're interested in. So I like to take note of what a person is interested also. So if they're interested in golf or hunting or fishing, and of course with my background, hunting, fishing, trapping, outdoors, anything with an engine that races, I can talk about all day, every day. So definitely being caring about other people, caring about what they do, caring about the things that frustrate them. That's where you stand out, and that's what's key. And building a relationship to show, hey, you can call me anytime. I'll do whatever it takes to help. I'll do what it takes to get it there. So if you have to work on a Saturday, if you have to take time out and travel 300 miles to deliver a piece, because otherwise their weekend workers, or that line's going to be down, you got to do it. And of course, with me, I love it. I love being able to help them look like rock stars. So if you send your piece my way, I'll do whatever it takes to help you and make you look good in the process.
Right, because it's all about the customer experience, and that's all part of it.
Exactly. And I don't want them to have to worry. Things come up, things happen, but I don't want them to have to worry about sending their parts to us. And I tell our guys in the shop, and we have an awesome team. I tell our guys, these tool and dies, there's a lot of labor, there's a lot of intelligence, there's a lot of money that goes in just the metal alone. There's a lot of time and labor that goes into making the dies, and there's a lot of time putting them in the stamping machines, taking them out, maintaining them. So we handle these things like they're more precious than gold, and which they are. So that leads you into, also, I like to post about shipping your tools and dies. Now we get some orders out of state, Texas, Minnesota, South Carolina, which I'm kind of proud of. But shipping and handling is another aspect of this business, and it has to be done right. And so on our end, I'm always making sure that if we ship anything out, that it is boxed up, to the T. I mean, I will overdo it. I will shrink wrap it because I don't want the cardboard edges to get wet and open, because you never know if it's raining when it's being delivered. So if you do a little above and beyond for your customers, it shows and it adds up, and they appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I worked for the urethane company, the customer experience was everything. I mean everything. And even in our business, it's everything. I think across the board, there's been there was a disconnect for a while with what the customer experience should be, and I think that more companies are putting an emphasis on that and making it important. And so to that point, you and I also, when we were discussing about what the customer experience and customer service meant for you and how you show up for your clients, I always like to give a shout out for millennials. So, because I love them, I say this on every show. And whenever you and I were talking, you said that you have seen great strides in how the millennials are showing up, giving that customer experience.
Definitely. Everywhere I go, the attitude and of acceptance in this industry of women, and I'm finding that you can be more yourself. Years ago, when we talked about business, you had to wear certain attire, you had to look a certain way, you had to speak a certain way. Now, in this industry, though, I'm finding that the millennials are more accepting across the board. Gender, tattoos. I can wear, when I'm out on the road, I can wear my hat, I can wear my boots, my jeans, I can be a little nitty gritty, and it's acceptable. So I don't have to be formal all the time. And the millennials are I do see a difference, and I do see them looking more at a person's capability rather than the outward looks. And that's so nice to see, especially being a teacher back a couple, maybe decades ago. Because my experience back when I was first in high school, it was very, women were not encouraged to get into STEM, science, technology, that sort of thing. We were not encouraged to that. I actually had to take, cooking and sewing, when I should have been in the shop class learning about electronics and machines and woodworking. So I see that changing, and I do like it. And even the older generation is coming around. They're very respectful. They're more open. So it is improving, and I'm sure others have had negative experiences. But for me, I'm kind of tough. It kind of just rolls off my back, or I tell the guys, you be you, and if you get out of place, I'll put you in line. So that's kind of my attitude towards it.
And you're just the girl to do it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, I know from talking to you, but you're a hustler. I mean, you are a go-getter. You don't sit idle. You told me you drive 300 miles a day to do deliveries. So, I mean, you're just exceptional, I guess is a good word to put. So, I mean, not everybody does that, right? So,
yeah, I don't know. That's just me, but I drive. I wear many hats in our company. Hold on, just a second. The little one has a noisy something. So I wear many hats, and I like it that way. I am not one to sit still. So I like coordinating our routes. I like calling the customer. Like this week, I have to call and see if they're open tomorrow or not. I like going back and making sure the pieces are being processed and letting the customers know if there's any issues, delays, or if most of the time ahead of time, hey, I'll be delivering your items today or tomorrow. Is that okay? So of course, and just helping anywhere I can. And of course, in sales, you have to be a go-getter. You cannot sit back. If you sit back, it just, the competition will get in there or they'll forget about you. So you have to be calling, you have to be emailing, you have to be stopping by on my routes, my 300 mile a day routes. I not only stop at the customers and keep that rapport. But I also try to do some cold calls while I'm in the area. I try to set up some appointments. So you have to always be in action. And of course, with my background personality, I love it. I love being busy. I love being productive. I love seeing customers happy. So, of course, customer service is always number one. And I guess that's my superpower is customer service.
Yeah. So, well, in sales, it's all about the hustle, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, what are some key takeaways that you can pass on to anybody that's in sales in the industrial space?
Main thing is to learn. I got on Google and just learned, listen. Anytime I'm on the road, I have you and Kyle and Megan and Alicia and some of the others. I wanted to do a shout out to some of the women on LinkedIn that have inspired me. Have things playing, always be open, learning new things, changing things up. Don't stay in the old, like Kyle says, if something's not working, try something different. And I had no outside sales experience. I didn't know how to do this. And you know what? Just by researching and learning and being bold enough, tenacious enough to keep at it, eventually it'll follow up. And we started with just a handful of customers, and with our teamwork, with the owner, with myself, we're growing and we're excited, and I'm so excited. I just want to get out there and help more in the Indianapolis, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee area. So I'm out there driving all over, and then even those in other states on LinkedIn. If I see somebody like South Carolina, hey, we're here, and come to find out, one of our customers does business in our area regularly and loves dropping off the work for us to do. It's very convenient, and like I said, we have a great turnaround time. So that's what makes us stand out.
Okay. And so, do you have any advice? This is a question that I always ask every guest. Do you have any advice that you can give younger women coming up and in thinking about a career in the industrial manufacturing space? Do you have anything that you can advice that you can offer them?
Well, being a science teacher, I always like to promote Science Olympiad, promoting the younger generation. And so of course, for young women, it's out here. There's more women out here, and it's okay. It's okay to be a little nitty gritty. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to learn about technology and industry and manufacturing. And I do love seeing that there's more of that. But teachers need to promote it in the classroom at younger ages. And the rest of us need to support each other on LinkedIn and be positive towards each other, uplift each other, and just get out there and show the world that, hey, we're here and we're doing well and we love it and we enjoy it. So I think we just need to get it more known, because there's many girls out there that excel in math, science, physics, chemistry, if they're just given the chance.
Yeah, and I think that's great advice. I think that, I know whenever I was growing up, I did not grow up in the background that you did. Your dad was into cars and your mom as well. And so you kind of had that background where I wasn't exposed to any of that, but man, do I love to watch the show, how it's made. And I love, I'm very tactile. And so I like feeling things and trying to figure out what it's made out of, and learning new processes and things. So I think it's really important that young women understand that they can be just as successful as any male in the industry, and that we should definitely promote it. And I definitely agree with you that we should uplift and support one another on LinkedIn. That's a key factor. So we're going to check and see if we have any questions or comments now. So
I don't know if the audience will be able to hear me super well, but they can read along. Patrick Massaro at the beginning of the show said, "Have a great show."
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
And then we just got a little happy face in here from Diana. And then TJ Graff says, "This young lady gets it. She has old school qualities, understands the basics of sales, customer service, and professionalism."
No, thank you for that. There you go, Penny.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then Jordan wants to know, through your experience in the industry, have you seen a change in the way relationships are built and sales are made?
Definitely. It used to be like Kyle says, throw up and spit up all the information and kind of hoopla. Hey, this is us. This is what we do. And instead, it's changed to building trust, of course, and then building a rapport and asking their pain points, their issues, asking them lots of questions, getting to know the client, their issues, their ways, their processes, and then addressing that directly, and not giving them a bunch of information that they don't need. Because as teachers know, attention span for a child is about 15 minutes. And I don't think adults are much longer than that. So you just have to kind of be a little short and to the point. So I do see a change in sales and the way that relationships are built. And of course, here in the South, everybody has kind of grown up with each other and knows each other. So all of the tool and die supervisors all know each other. So if you can build that trust with one, usually you get a good shout out to the others in the area. And so then when you do hit them up, they kind of already know what you're about and what you can provide. So I kind of like that community type in this industry, in this area. So if you can give good quality, good service, build a good rapport, be trustworthy, always be dependable, word will eventually get out.
That is so true. So true. Okay, so we're going to enter what I like to call the fun portion of the show. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions with just to kind of let's get to know Penny. So you're a Southern girl. So is it shrimp and grits or is it a steak for you?
Oh, definitely steak. I need a medium rare steak, a strip, bone in, got to have the bone in. Of course, venison has been primary in my background. So I've even had porcupine stew one time. So
well, all righty then. Okay, that I'm just going to say is the first time I've ever heard that. So,
well,
okay,
Dad.
Well, so are you a beach girl or mountains?
I love the backwoods. I grew up in the backwoods, but I also love I love them both. So I like all kinds of different environments, experiences, that sort of thing. So when I was younger, looked into being a DNR ranger, which is a Department National Resource Ranger. But figured I was a little too small to come up against poachers or anything of that. So so I turned my attention to being a world dominating scientist.
Okay, and what is something, and I know the answer to this, what is something that you've always wanted to do but have not had the opportunity yet?
Okay, so I've been bungee jumping. Dad taught me how to rappel. I've dove off of high cliffs in California. So I love adventure. I love new experiences. So I do, because I'm close to Tennessee, I want to whitewater raft and I want to hang glide. So those are some of my bucket lists. But I think you're referring to, I want to drive
Yes.
one of those very large dump trucks that do the excavating. So it would be like driving a building around. That is my dream bucket list is to drive one of those.
So if anybody from CAT is listening, make this girl's dream come true.
Well, as long as we're doing that, I would also love to ride in a jet fighter plane. So I would do that. even if I passed out, that experience would be amazing. I would love it.
That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, Penny. And we're going to go ahead and close out the show. Just want to invite anyone who is watching, if you want to promote your company's brand as well as yourself, you don't have to be in any particular position, high level. If you do marketing and you want to come on the show and talk about marketing for industrial and manufacturing space, I'd love to have you. You don't have to be a CEO or high level. Again, I just want to throw that out there. All levels of industrial and manufacturing, I'd love to have a chat with you. That way we can educate everyone. And until next time, I'll see you on the flip side.